Hello and welcome to Sam's on Christmas!
Hey!
It is our official week of Christmas where we will come to you every single day from the 24th to the 1st, unless you're watching this in 6 months, 2 years into the future.
Wait, if you're watching it in June.
Yeah, but that people do that. So, Hi in June! Hi. But we are here on Christmas Eve, and we will be here every single day with a brand new episode, pretty much rounding off 2024. But today, I am joined by our babiest of baby Sams.
Hello there.
And we are looking at the best moments of AEW in 2024. Now, we had a discussion about this. We thought we were going to do two top 10 lists for best of WWE and best of AEW. And we kept coming up with more and more and more, particularly for WWE, admittedly. But AEW, I got way into the 20s and I was like, I think we're going to have to do a brackets episode for this.
And I think it's nicer to celebrate the good moments more than the bad moments. Exactly. Yeah. We'll do a 10 for the worst.
We'll do a 10 for the worst of wrestling. That will be coming up during the week. But we are here, and this is our bracket series where we're going to put what we think are the 32 best moments of AEW in 2024 into a bracket. We'll randomly draw them. Why have we randomly drawn them, Sam?
Because if you seed it, you're already decided.
And we will find out what we think is the best moment of AEW in 2024. But there are two of us. How does it work? I will be the judge. I have the end decision. Apart from Sam, he will have 5 vetoes, meaning if he completely disagrees with one of my decisions, he can go veto, and that will go through irregardless. The only times he can't do that is in the semi-final and the final, and he can't do it more than twice. So, before we get into the brackets of the best moments of AEW, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please join us for the rest of the week, and let's find out what is the best moments of AEW in 2024. Our opening matchup is Bryan Danielson winning the world title at All In, and Okada officially becoming All Elite and joining the Elite, joining the Bucks. So, Sam, do you want to talk about why you are so excited about Daniel Bryan winning the world title?
We were there.
We were there.
We were there.
Yeah, what a moment that was.
And you know what? You had the plausibility that he could lose as well.
We didn't know.
No.
We genuinely didn't know. And everyone else wasn't sure of it. It's such a big stadium. He got the final countdown. We went, oh, he's losing now. Yeah. He's got the final countdown.
Wrestling is at its best when it's unpredictable. And we really didn't know. And then when he won, we went mental.
Oh,
the atmosphere for it.
We didn't go mental. We bombed straight out the arena.
Well, I went mental as I was leaving, as you were like, we need to get to the car.
Go. But it was a really special moment because generally the result was so unpredictable. Hangman getting involved as well near the end. The I'm sorry to like Brie, and then him not selling the knee swerve, which you know how much I don't like a no sell. Or not like, selling as much, but when it's done at the right time, at the right moment, it can mean so much. That's why you don't do it every match. But that no-sell of the knee was awesome. I loved that. Okada debuting. So really cool. The Bucks are attacking, they're beating up, and then, I think it's Orange Cassidy top of my head, but remind me, I've already forgotten who's being beaten up because the person is completely inconsequential. Yeah. And then you hear the coin, and he comes out, the crowd go wild. It's been mild a bit more recently. Book him stronger. Yeah. He's one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Stop making him just swear and call people
like
bitch. Sorry, I just want Okada to be Okada.
Christmas, Sam, be positive.
Christmas Eve, you have to have an argument with your family.
It's true.
But then obviously he joins the Bucks, and that's a big deal, him becoming heel. I actually thought it was a really brave thing to do, because obviously everyone thought they were going to make him a big deal, big face sort of thing. So I liked that. However, I think it's Bryan winning the world title.
I think so as well.
Yeah, I think so. It was such a great moment, and it probably is the biggest moment. Doesn't make it the best, but it's probably the biggest moment of the year, probably. So we're going to go with Bryan Danielson winning the world title at All In. We're going to go with Edge's cage dive, where he breaks his leg, and Mariah May turning heel on Toni Storm. Right. Edge breaking his leg, Adam Copeland.
Why have you put it in there? It's a horrible moment. It made me really sad.
Some people love the cage dive and love the end of the big match. It's a big moment of the year. I'm the same as you. I hate it.
Really sad. No, it's really genuinely sad. Like injuries, even in like a great spot. And
it's not the breaking leg. It's the action of Edge climbing and diving.
Okay, right. So you can look at a moment where there's a big spot and a wrestler gets hurt, when like RVD diving off the chamber onto Triple H, and go, when you know there's an injury, you go, oh, that's kind of bad, but it's a great moment. This was not a great moment anyway, because you can tell how scared Edge is, and frankly, I love Edge. One of my favourite wrestlers.
Adam Copeland.
Sorry, am I going to get copyrighted by WWE? Adam Copeland. I love him to pieces, but I think he was an idiot for doing it. With his neck. And he knew as soon as he got up there, oh, I shouldn't be doing this.
I think so.
And
I will talk about it in a future video, but I think we will just automatically put Mariah May's heel.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
We'll get through that in a minute.
Yeah.
That will go through to the next round. Mariah May, we will talk about you later. Nigel McGuinness returning in the gauntlet match at All In. And, I'll tell you what, we've got All In again, but from last year, but this year...
That we were also at.
AEW shows the All In footage. Now, again, good or bad, it is a huge moment in AEW of this year. At this point, AEW aren't good. We agree. Up until about the summer, AEW had kicked into gear, and they've been fantastic, really strong in the back end of 2024. But they're really, really good, compelling, particularly their pay-per-views. Their pay-per-views are always great. But this was a panic button about WWE, and no one can tell me it wasn't.
Sam, I don't know why this is in
It was one of the most watched viewing things of the year.
Doesn't mean it's best.
Yes, but it's the biggest moment. You're talking about the biggest moments of the year, Sam. This is one of the most watched things they did.
It depends what your criteria is, because in terms of if you're going for the biggest moment, this will win. If you're going for the best, this shouldn't be.
That's our conversation, because biggest doesn't necessarily mean best, but also best doesn't necessarily mean biggest.
What's the title of the video?
It is best moments of AEW.
Then it shouldn't be here. It shouldn't be here whatsoever. We're trying to have a happy moment. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen from a wrestling promotion.
Really?
Genuinely. For publicity.
At least modern wise. At least modern.
No, I think this is WCW-esque.
It really is.
No. This is
really
genuinely.
is.
This is actually a real fight. So you're completely destroying kayfabe, and I know kayfabe isn't what it was, but
it did destroy kayfabe.
This is ridiculous.
You need to at least do kayfabe on screen.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like on your show.
Yeah. It was a response to Punk on the Hawaii show.
And at that point, Jack Perry wasn't even. I know what it was, but at that point, Jack Perry wasn't even employed. So this is Jack Perry had already been fired.
I will point out.
Put it back.
It literally was the best thing for Jack Perry. That's why I made it, because it did work for Perry.
I know, but it just. They definitely didn't consult Perry before it. It was almost just an accidental consequence of it. This is one of the worst and least thought through things I've ever seen, and it was embarrassing. And they are so lucky that, well, not lucky because they did it themselves, but it's such a good thing that they have rejuvenated themselves creatively. Because if they hadn't, my word,
it really could have been a problem.
That could have been the moment where you just went, that was the end of their top run.
Are we going to just talk about? Should we talk about Nigel now, or should I talk about Nigel later?
I'd like to talk about Nigel now, because I'm sad that you put that on the list.
You didn't really know much about Nigel McGuinness, because your AEW, you go up and down. You were a big fan, and then you've kind of gone out because of COVID, not because they were bad, and then you just struggled to get back in. And you weren't a Ring of Honor person. You weren't TNA in 2009. This is why I love Nigel McGuinness, right? Bischoff did this thing in TNA, right, where it was like, you get to vote who's going to have these title matches. And it was genuine real vote, right? And Nigel McGuinness kept winning every week. We're not talking about, he's won a couple. Every single week. It's Nigel McGuinness again.
So
and Bischoff was like, no! RVD! Abyss! Not him! So they had to keep booking him into the ground because they didn't want him.
They had to lose all the time.
And they're going, Bischoff, read the room! This is why I don't listen to Bischoff on AEW. I try and listen to him whenever, but he's got such a vendetta, and I'm like, you didn't even put McGuinness over in TNA. But we'll talk about this a bit more, but I'll tell you what, when McGuinness's music hit, I'm telling you now, it was the loudest noise at All In by countries of miles.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about it more later because it beats the All In footage. I wanted to mention the All In footage because it was stupid.
You're broadcasting a crime scene. Of course it gets views. Come on.
Do you know what? I'm going to carry on because I want that in the video.
It's ridiculous.
Our next matchup is Jack Perry being lit on fire by Darby Allin.
Crime scene.
And MJF and Ospreay's 1 hour match at the 250th Dynamite. So it's obviously not the match. We don't do the match. It's the fact that the match ends with 2 seconds to go from an hour-long timeout. Really great match. Technically better than their All In match, which they had weeks later. Stop giving away matches on free TV. Yes, I'm happy that I get to watch it on free TV. But that's a terrible business model, and it means, why should I care about the pay-per-view match? Stop it. But anyway, thankfully, Ospreay is awesome, and you probably could watch Ospreay wrestle the same person 3 or 4 times, and then pay-per-view, and it would still be great. So thankfully it worked with Ospreay. Jack Perry getting lit on fire.
I want to put this through because I find it hilarious.
No, I think it does win. Because
You reckon?
I think it's an amazing spot. Darby Allin comes out with a flamethrower and actually lights Perry on fire.
Was it real fire though? Sam?
Yes!
Was it real fire?
Yes!
Cry me a river.
Unbelievable.
That was
He
awesome.
only does real things now, Jack Perry.
He really does.
Honestly, watching that, because I was trying to get back into AEW a little bit with, All In and stuff, like in terms of watching it every single week rather than clips and rather than piecing it together and stuff at the time. And oh my god, watching that, I was like, wow, that's Attitude Era stuff, that is. Yeah. That's mad.
So I hadn't been that up to date with AEW. So you sent me this list and I went, okay, I need to maybe watch a few of these to get on, up to date.
Yeah, you're more our WWE correspondent.
And I'm looking at the list and I see Jack Perry is lit up, and I'm going, right, so he's been put through a flaming table probably, which is, cool. And then I go on YouTube and I search up Darby Allin, just literally gets a flamethrower because I'm watching
Scorpio from
watching Call of Duty. It's been lit on fire.
That's amazing.
I've been missing out on.
I think this should. Yeah, that's how mad it's actually
This made me want to watch it.
Honestly, genuinely, from about June onwards, AEW has been brilliant pay-per-views, and the TV up and down. Either Dynamite's good or Collision's good. They haven't got them both at the same time, weirdly. If you have a bad Dynamite, you go, oh, good Collision coming in. It's really strange. But Jack Perry on fire? Going through?
Your defence is terrified.
I'm not going to lie, I love the Hour Long match. The fact that it ended at such a dramatic moment, the 250th, but I really think this is such a mad moment. It has to go through. We like wrestling to be daft, if not dangerous. But yeah, I'm putting that through.
I'm not going to veto that.
Bryan Danielson winning the Owen Hart tournament, and Hangman's kind of post promo, backstage promo, like coming for Swerve, you took everything from me. That promo backstage, not even on telly, I think it was like an AEW exclusive thing, is a mad promo. He's so aggressive, he's so emotional. Hangman's had an incredible year.
He really has. I think he's really been rejuvenated, because I think if you're looking towards the beginning of this year,
after he lost the title to before this year, maybe let's say halfway through 2023, nowhere, absolutely nothing. Wow, honestly, wow.
Reinvigorated.
He's been that. Promo was incredible. Bryan win the Owen Hart tournament means whoever wins was going to take on Swerve at All In. And you didn't know who was going to win that because both made sense. Hangman Swerve again for the title.
Yeah.
So the rivalry is there. And Bryan, we want him to win the title because he's want to retire and all that jazz. If he loses, blah, blah, blah. So both, it was a really big match, and it saved both. Bryan won with a kind of weird roll-up from he's getting choked, and then he kind of rolled him up. It was, I'll tell you what, this is a tough one. These are two very tight things to me. If I'm picking it, Hangman's emotional promo, I put After Blood and Guts here, but it's like, it's way long After Blood and Guts, but it's After Blood and Guts. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah,
I think it's so good.
I can go with that.
Yeah.
I do love my character stuff, and Hangman has been brilliant. And
It was off camera.
Yeah,
Off camera.
And I love the fact that I love unpredictability. I love the plausibility of each wrestler to win. And the fact Bryan won it was great, but I think we've already got Bryan
winning the world title, which
so,
came from this. The winner got the title.
Yeah.
So I do think Hangman's promo was just class, and it needs to be. It should be shown. It should have been put on. Oh, amazing! Hangman's promo coming for Swerve. I want Swerve. Goes through. We have the Elite and Jack Perry attacking Tony Khan, and then another moment that I don't like, but others do, so it has to be on. The jumping tombstone off the steps by Fletcher on Ospreay.
Nice.
I mean, so first of all, Sam, let's talk about the tombstone. I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is this far. And this is one of the few times I've actually got into an argument online. Okay?
One of the few.
Because you know me, I'm very positive, and I try and all that jazz, and I try and be as positive. You can't critique AEW. There's a problem with that. Because people go, oh, you're a WWE fan, you're like, I can tell you all the problems with WWE. 5-match cards, interferences all the time, Triple H loves a roll-up.
Oh, he does.
I mean, the tag team titles being booked into oblivion.
Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley feuding for eternity.
Forever. Yeah. So genuinely, I can tell you all the problems, so I can critique them just as much, honestly. But my biggest problem with AEW was selling. Because if you kick out of everything, and people have started to say it to me like, I'm wrestling with regret, Brian Zane, he's been talking about how it seems to be almost like a joke at this point. Yeah. And So Fletcher and Ospreay are having this great match. There's some non-selling in it here and there, like they did a Spanish fly, not a normal one, not off the top rope, in the ring, which used to be someone's finisher. They both got up. It was a transition move.
Oh.
It wasn't even a pinfall. It was during them doing
just
7 moves.
making it harder for yourself.
I know. But anyway, that's by the by. So then Fletcher, there's steps on the side, right? So like that. Carl Fletcher gets him into a tombstone position, jumps off the apron and tombstones him onto the steps. That's incredible. Wow. What a moment. Now, we're going to cut it off here for moments. It's going to cut off there.
How's your knees, by the way?
Okay. I think he tombstones and the knees go off the steps, right? Then, so Ospreay's selling it like, nerve damage and all that. Great sell.
Well,
No,
yeah,
fine,
but if
fine.
you know you should lose.
Yeah. He then picks him up, takes 2 minutes, gets him into the ring. He doesn't pin him. Ospreay gets up onto his feet. But not to do a move. So the Fletcher hits him with another move, and then he hits him with one of his finishers, a variation of his tombstone, and then he kicks out. And you're like, end the match on the biggest moment. End it. It's not making Ospreay look how impressive he is. You've already forgotten the jumping tombstone. So we're going to cut off just before that. But I'll tell you what, if that had ended the match, it would have made Fletcher look like a badass because he would have done anything to destroy Ospreay.
Question.
And he didn't.
Who won the match?
Fletcher did in the end. Yeah.
So he won anyway!
Yeah, I know, that's the problem. He then had to do, he did his, essentially what Sami Zayn did. No, he did what Sami Zayn did to Gunther. He did a brainbuster on the top rope. And you're like, you have to do an extra move, a super move.
Could
and
have
you're
saved
like,
that for another time.
I know, they're going to have more matches. So I was just there going, you've just done an incredible move, this jumping tombstone, which is an amazing move. I mean, I have no problem with the move. Just get that clear. I have no problem with the move. But it's a famous move. It's really famous, and you've done a jumping up. But the Elite attacking Tony Khan put Jack Perry back on the mat, put Jack Perry with the Elite. Tony Khan's first kind of physicality involved. Yeah. He took the Meltzer flippy driver thingy and all that jazz. It's actually a huge moment, and it actually really worked to get over the Bucks' new character and really push Jack Perry back into it.
I think I remember seeing it at the time and just going, I didn't like it because I just thought it was it's just a very cliche thing to do, and it's Tony Khan. I never wanted Tony Khan to be an on-screen person.
I never wanted.
He's not entertaining. He's not.
It's like
he's
do you know who he reminds me of?
What?
Linda McMahon.
Yes.
Yeah.
You think shouldn't be on screen.
I get why you are on screen.
I got Linda more so because she's the foil to Vince.
Yeah, but Tony is the owner of AEW.
Yeah, but
so
just no. I wanted AEW to be different from that.
I would have made Christopher Daniels the guy who runs the show, and just have it as Christopher Daniels. This is a tough one. I personally believe that the Elite attacking Tony Khan is actually the bigger moment because it really was attention grabbing. And Tony sold it by wearing a neck brace because he was on the NFL draft.
That's I respect.
So I'm going because of the neck brace. What do you think?
I'll go with Tony because at least some good came out of it.
So the thing could come out good with the Fletcher thing, but I just hated the fact that it didn't end the match.
It's not even just that moment in itself, it's what it stands for and everything behind it. I hate that trope in wrestling that we've gone to. That
everyone does it.
Moves can't matter.
Cody Rhodes has to hit 3 crossroads now to win any match.
You're right.
You can't just win one. Oh, it's driving me up the bloody wall. Make finishers. That's the name. It's in the name. We move on to Bobby Lashley debuting for AEW, and Hangman stabs Swerve with a needle. What the hell? AEW
done some things to Swerve this year.
Oh my god, absolutely insane. I don't like that spot because it's a thing for me. Just because generally because you can't fake it really.
I thought you were about
diabetic. Yeah. No, I was okay with needles. I was alright with that. I was like, hey guys, insulin needs it's expensive in America. But when it happened, you were just like, whoa, oh my, it was one of them ones. You can't not react to that, even if you like it or don't like it. It got a reaction from you, and sometimes getting a reaction is what they're looking for because you are trying to shock. There's a difference between you shouldn't have done that. You're trying to get a negative reaction. That is a reaction. Lashley's debut to me didn't seem that big a deal.
I think that's a symptom of a lot of AEW debuts because they have a lot of them,
and they're all they keep just anyone who gets
released
left from WWE, they just
up.
And I get Lashley to know he's a big star, but he's in his late 40s, and that's the problem with AEW. They keep people like Shelton Benjamin. MVP Shelton Benjamin and Lashley are all in their late 40s, and don't get me wrong, 2 of them look unbelievable. Like
Lashley looks younger than me.
I know, it's amazing. I just cannot believe how good those 2 look, and they still look great in the ring. I'm not saying that, but you've already put them into a really prominent position already. But Lashley's debut was like, the lights just kind of went out, Swerve's in the ring, and then it's Lashley, and the crowd went mad because it's Bobby Lashley. I think Hangman stabbing Swerve with a needle wins this out.
Agreed.
Yeah, Hangman, Debbie. Hangman again! This time with
He's
more
had a
crime.
year.
With more crime, blowing up Swerve's childhood house and Mercedes Monet's debut. CEO, CEO. Have to pipe it in because no one is chanting it.
She would just get this over with. Who's won?
Hangman blowing up Swerve's house we'll talk about. Let's talk briefly about Monet.
Yeah.
It's been a very weird year for Monet. She's been in a prominent position. She's had a lot of flack, a lot of criticism, some correct, some incorrect. I don't think, even if you're a diehard Sasha Banks fan or Mercedes Moné, you can't go, oh, she's had a great year, she's been number one, she's been brilliant. I just don't think you can say that. But I also don't think you can go, she's been the worst thing, she's been awful. Her match recently with Chris Statlander, it was at Full Gear. Match of the night in my eyes. Other people disagree, say with Fletcher and Ospreay and all that jazz, but I thought to me it was match of the night. I thought they were fantastic together because when she has a great opponent who can really work, such as Statlander can, Mercedes will put on a great match every time.
Yeah, it's psychology of you show your strengths and hide your weaknesses. They're not doing that with her.
I don't think so.
And then she's getting a lot of stick when she's being put in situations that, as a performer, she doesn't thrive in. So you can say Mercedes Moné isn't that great, but she's always been the same person. Monet, that's her name now. I'm committed.
She is now Mercedes Moné. Oh, like Finding Nemo.
Yeah, exactly. I think she is the same performer that she's always been, and now she's being put in situations that don't suit her. Now she's getting criticism. Is that her fault, or is that the fault of the people booking her?
Well, she has creative control in her contract.
Oh, then I take it all back.
Yeah, but then again, she might not be using the creative control. Just because you have it doesn't mean you...
I take half of it back.
Yeah. The debut was good. It was actually very good. Everyone watched it. The promo was fine. She's done worse promos. I actually thought the promo was fine. I didn't like the fact that she was called CEO because that's very WCW to me. Because you've gone, you're called the boss here. Now you can be the CEO. Like I remember when IRS moved over to WCW, he was like Michael Wall Street, and you're like, just
go with it fresh.
Just do something new. Just call her Mercedes Moné. She doesn't need a moniker. The moniker can sometimes come over time. I actually don't mind the CEO name, actually, generally. But the problem is you have CEOs, and you had the Bucks, and you had Khan, and Hangman blowing up we will talk about, because that wins. So Hangman again. Have you seen who Hangman's taking on the next round?
I know. I know.
So, as per normal on the brackets, we always do the left-hand side of the draw, and we get our finalists before we start the right-hand side of the draw. So we've got the last 16. Brian wins the world title, Mariah May's heel turn. Let's talk about Mariah May's heel turn. It's one of the best heel turns of the modern age.
Yeah.
Tony Storm and Mariah May, up until All In, I actually don't think Mariah May's had a great back in the day. They seem to have forgotten about it, really. It seems like Mercedes' main title, even though she has the DVS title. They were unbelievable. They were the best in the entire year. Tony Storm was having a great time, and the heel turn was visceral. Like you hadn't seen it because you were out at this point of AEW for a bit, and I had to physically go, Sam, watch this video, and you were like, wow, okay. You had no idea who Mariah May was. She was new. You know Tony Storm from back when she was in WWE, getting no chance, and you just watched this blood just pouring. Heel, it was disgusting. Her screaming, why, and all that jazz. It was horrible.
And it's the fact that it was very well timed because you just had them win a tournament together.
Yes, Mariah May had just won the tournament. No, not together. Mariah May had just won the tournament, the Owen Hart.
Yes.
So she got a number one contenders match against Tony Storm. So she thought it was going to be friends having a match and all this jazz. They even put the graphic at the top of the screen. That's excellent production work from AEW. Excellent. When AEW get something right, they get it right better than WWE.
Yeah,
that's how I would actually say it. Like WWE get right more consistently. I think they book stories more for the whole roster more consistently. I think AEW had one good story every single time, always going. There's always one amazing story happening at all times. But when they get something right that's great, it's so much better than something that WWE can produce because they're a bit more adult, a bit more grittier, that type of thing. And I think this is an example of it. It's against Bryan winning the world title, which was, again, one of the best moments. This could have been the final, I think.
Yeah.
That's the random draw for you guys. I have an answer.
I have an answer as well. I don't like it.
I think Mariah May's heel turn is
I do as well.
the one. Yeah.
I want to be biased because we were
I
there
love
for Brian.
I love Brian. I love it. The moment was incredible.
I
The
think
match was great. But
you need to give this the recognition it deserves.
this as a moment, literally for a character who's barely on telly, like 18 months prior, she's brand new. To pull that off, and Tony's performance, this character, this moment is incredible and definitely goes through to the quarterfinals. We have Nigel returning in the gauntlet match and Jack Perry on fire.
Oh, blimey.
He's on fire!
Different mood.
King, he's on fire! Nigel returning, we were so happy. Because I went mad, because I know Nigel. I'd watched him in Ring of Honor, I watched him in TNA. And I genuinely didn't think he was going to wrestle again. I didn't think he was going to be healthy enough. I thought maybe he could have a match against Brian and they could kind of work their way through it. And we watched the match, he barely did any selling. Like, I think he took one bump, which is Christian Spear, I think he took.
Yeah.
He didn't really take any other bumps. So that did make me go, you've worked around him really well. First of all, this gauntlet match is incredible.
Yeah.
It's match of the night.
And it was. And
it's match of the night.
Like, the first half of the show was pretty meh.
It was okay.
It was alright.
It was
but
okay.
We were waiting for that spark.
We wanted to be enlightened. And this enlightened the crowd. And then it just for the rest of the night, every match, apart from Monet, but that was in the death spot, was just, we were on fever pitch. It got the crowd.
Incredible.
And I think it's Nigel that did it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's Nigel that did it. And as much as Jack Perry going on fire was absolutely mad and insane, I don't think they've had a bigger or louder response this year than when Nigel came out in front of the British fans at Wembley.
You were saying to me you were gutted that he couldn't be on the pay-per-view and wrestle Brian as the show's going. And it's not often that you're not in the know.
Yeah. I thought they might do that match as Brian's send-off match. And they go off together, and then they didn't book it. And I went, they booked the what? Because I thought Swerve was going to win the Owen Hart. Not Swerve, sorry. Hangman's going to win the Owen Hart versus Swerve. That's the obvious main event. And then Brian and McGuinness have a kind of decent work match. And then bye-bye to both of them. This was better. Yeah. Both booked better. I felt sorry for Hangman because he's kind of not a factor in the All-In show in the end. But yeah, do we agree Nigel returning because of just the noise?
Yeah.
I know we were there, so there's a bit of bias, but you can hear it on telly. And everyone who was there will tell you it was the moment of the night.
Yeah.
It really was. So Nigel will beat Jack Perry. He's on fire! He's going to the It is. It's Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
But Nigel. Hangman's post-show promo versus the Elite attacking Tony Khan. Hangman's. It's a great promo. The Tony thing, I think if Tony had been a wrestler in his previous life, but had been a wrestler, I think it might have meant more. I think if the thing hadn't been about a real fight, and then Tony going, I feared for my life, and then he gets attacked. It makes no sense. From it breaks over thing. I still think it's actually really well done. I actually think it's actually done, and I think if you watch it just from an on-screen, it's really well. But I think Hangman's promo is just, it's awesome. Just you can just see the anger and emotion in him. I see an actor. I really see an actor. I think there's a man who could easily be, and he looks good as well. He's a handsome man, gorgeous man. He could definitely. He's got a bit of Thor about him, hasn't he? Yeah, I think I can't wait to do the power rankings on Hangman actually, because those numbers are going to be so difficult.
Very interesting.
Because he's had such a mixed career, you could go anywhere. But I think Hangman's promo is incredible. So many matches deep, not a single veto left. But now we've got Hangman versus Hangman. Stab Swerve with a needle, or he blows up Swerve's childhood home. Can we talk about the Swerve childhood home thing?
Yeah.
So, would you like to talk about it? Because you literally only just watched it.
Yeah. Again, this is another one on the list where I'm going, Hangman blows up Swerve's... Right, okay. And I've watched it, and it's literally a scene off GTA.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he sits very near the flame.
It's shot beautifully. Yeah. They've just done the week before about Swerve buying his childhood home, buying back his childhood home. It's obviously not his real home, but but it's like I've got the money now. I've bought back my childhood home, and it links to Hangman going, I've had to move out of my home. You cost me my home. It's all such wonderful storytelling.
No, this has got a.
It beats stabbing a needle, which is a visceral. Oh my god! And you know what? When people go, oh, that's too violent, I'm like, he just blew up a childhood home. No violence is off the table. Yeah. Sometimes there is no violence off the table when the story has lent it to it. It's a problem with the Attitude Era. All violence was on the table in the Attitude, and you're like, ECW proved that. Do you know what I mean? Like all the violence is the same. You're like, okay, you're just hitting each other with a chair because you guys hit each other with chairs. But when suddenly you've got Sandman hitting Tommy Dreamer with the back of the cane over and over and over again, that meant more because it meant something. Hangman blowing up Swerve's childhood home is mad. And could I just say, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, that's how you blow up a thing on fire and then stand. That's how you do it. We move into the quarter-finals of the left-hand side of the draw. It's Mariah May's heel turn and Nigel returning in the gauntlet match. Okay, again...
I don't want to do this one.
I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
I don't know, because
nothing for you.
Where do you go? Do you go with the visceral, acting, sad, oh my god, it hurts, or do you go with elation? I think I know what it is.
I don't know what it is. Can you say words so I can think?
Here's my thoughts on this. I cared more for Nigel returning. Mariah May's a booked storyline spot built over time that's culminated in that moment and has hurt every audience member, whereas Nigel, you're just so happy and elated. And we were, and it's the biggest pop of the year, but I think the storyline beat played to perfection that made everybody react, I think has to say it's better, or the better moment, than a guy kind of coming out of retirement and getting a pop.
And what I will say is this, now I've had about 20 seconds to think, is with Nigel coming back, if you're going, he's cleared for All In the UK, and he comes out in a gauntlet match, it's an open goal. Like, if you can just do it, you know it is guaranteed to be amazing.
And he was great in the match as well. Yeah, he did all the perfect spots. Yeah. Okada was fantastic in the match. If you're going to play this kind of weird character, he was excellent in that match.
Oh, it's a phenomenal match. But again, to your point, this could have easily been a bit of an unnoteworthy heel turn.
It really could.
Yeah. Oh, she said heel. We're starting a feud. It's not this like top elite tier moment.
It's literally when me and you do the brackets for heel turns. I think it generally has now snuck into the top 32 of all time. We might have to do top 64 for heel turns because there's so many, but I generally think we have to go with Mariah May's heel turn here.
I think we do as well.
Well,
I feel horrible.
We love you, Nigel. Honestly, it's the moment we went home remembering from All In the most. But yeah, Mariah May's heel turn is going to go through. It's Hangman again! I think Hangman's blowing up Swerve's childhood home beats his promo.
I think so.
Promo's amazing. It's backstage. It's off camera sort of thing. Technically, it's on camera, but it's like an exclusive. But the blowing up the home really ignited that rivalry into...
Ignited?
That was what I did. That's what I did. And I think we have to go with Swerve blowing up his childhood home.
Actions speak louder than... I would rather, if I was Swerve, someone call me names and be cross about me than blow up my house.
We must now decide what's going to go through to the final of the left-hand side. It's Mariah May's heel turn and Swerve's house getting blown up by Hangman.
Some dastardly heel work here.
I've got the judge on this because you've got no veto for this. It's a semi-final. I don't know where to go.
I know where to go.
Go on then, help me out because I'm struggling.
Again, Sam, I'll go back to my early metaphor. Would you rather me, as your one of your bestest pals, would you rather me hit you in the face with a heel, or would you rather me blow up this house?
They're not going to lie. If you hit me with a heel, you could kill me. And if you did it, and if you, do you know what? Genuinely, I'm going to argue against you on this for two reasons. One, when you blew up my house, you hated me, and I know there's rubber, and I know I'm in trouble. Mariah May is Tony's friend. So if you hit me with a heel out of nowhere, I would have this emotional damage.
It'd be weird, wouldn't it?
And I'd have the physical damage. And that's what sells this the most. Tony's bleeding, but she's not selling the pain.
This is the one thing I've wanted to use a veto for. I don't have
it. Welcome to the semi-final.
Sam.
Oh.
Let me just come.
Is this you coming in at the end? I'm running.
Put it in the bank. Let me just...
There is no money in the bank veto.
Let me just... Persuade you. Okay. And now I need to think of what to say because I feel that it should. Okay.
Mariah May's turn goes through to the final. No! We now move on to the right-hand side of the brackets.
Just looking for some flammable objects in the room that I can use to prove a point.
Ellie May, can I have a high heel? She's only 5'2". She must have a heel.
Won't be able to reach me.
We're into the new side of the draw to find out who will take on Mariah May's heel turn. We have MJF returning and Statlander and Monet getting speared through a wall. Now, some people have complained about this because it looked fake and it's a fake wall and all that jazz. I don't know what person watches wrestling, but anytime anyone goes through a wall, I'm delighted. I love the spot. I don't care. Because A, they don't overdo it. And admittedly, WWE had just done it about 3 weeks earlier or 4 weeks earlier with Braun and Bronson.
Ah, yes.
MJF returning, we thought big face, big heel turn. You know, we loved MJF. I've not been sold on his heel run. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something to do with like everyone has seen it. I don't know if it's the fact that we kind of want to be a babyface and then suddenly he's doing this. I don't know if it's the Americana thing with Osprey. I don't know what it is. Something's missed.
No,
from it.
I've lost enthusiasm from MJF.
But I wish I could explain what it is because I don't have the answer.
Sometimes it's just that little je ne sais quoi, that just like sometimes someone, because he's done this heel run before and we loved him so much as a babyface,
and this is a more angrier heel run.
You just go, you're good. You're really good, but
I'm
not
faces.
excited.
AEW need faces right now, and MJF would be a really good face, especially the fact that he came back and he went, "Look, I've got my AEW tattoo. I'm now AEW," which is, you know, brave. And now you've got the Death Riders going, "We're taking over AEW with Moxley." There's your face of AEW. I don't know. Because I think they might do it with Hangman maybe, but you know, he's been a great heel. It's a tough one. I think MJF wins this over them going through a wall, but I love it. Made their feud more, and then their match was great. So you know, if you're going to do a big spot, do a great match.
I love going through a wall. I remember Bring on the Wall on BBC back in the day.
Oh my god!
What a show like that.
Into the wall, yeah. But MJF return is going to go through to the last 16. Moment that I think is going to lose. But I like this moment.
Let's hear this out. Good.
Fletcher shaves his head, and Sting's retirement. Now we know what's going to win this, but can we talk about the Fletcher thing? It's wonderfully done. Essentially, he went, "I want to be everything that's not Ospreay," and people say he always looks like Ospreay. So in the ring, to shave his head so he doesn't have the same sort of haircut as Ospreay. Do you know what? Because it's real, because you're actually shaving your own head. It's a big moment. It's amazing that shaving your own head means something, but it does because there's emotion to it. There's cadence to it. I've actually been really impressed with Fletcher, actually, in the past few months. I generally didn't think he had all of this in him. And I've been super, super, super impressed. The Sting's retirement match and Sting's retirement moment is winning, yes?
I think that's fair.
Sting goes through. You don't veto yet. We agree that, apart from what? Sting goes through. Sam had an argument with me off camera. He wanted the Edge and Christian hockey fight to actually be in it.
I do love Canada.
So I have replaced it and put it in. It's Edge and Christian's hockey fight. I'm going to call him Edge. I don't care. I'm sorry.
You told me off for doing that earlier.
I did it for fun.
Yes.
And Brian taps out to Nigel McGuinness. It was great to see Brian and Nigel actually have their match.
It was fantastic.
It was a good match as well.
Yes.
I was amazed Nigel could work so I just how good Brian is. Because you've obviously watched some of Nigel's matches back since and gone, oh my god, he's actually brilliant. So it was great to see. Edge and Christian's hockey fight was so much fun in the middle of their match. That was.
It does amuse me. I like that.
They put on the jump and then they were in the penalty box, and
it's daft and it's good.
Great. But I think we're gonna have to go with Brian tapping out Nigel because it was just such a happy moment for everybody, and I just want to give Nigel more love.
I can give Nigel more love.
He genuinely might be one of the best commentators going right now.
Oh no, he's a great commentator.
I cannot believe WWE let him go as a commentator.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. He was amazing. I think he did a lot of 205 Live and stuff like that. And I'm just there going, there's your guy. Move him over. He's really, really good. I mean, admittedly, we've got Wade Barrett since he's been really good. Who long? Oh, I don't know who's long because Pat McAfee's been re-signed for the Netflix.
Oh,
so who's going where? Because you've got the new guy who's been doing a great job.
Pat's got to be with
Michael Cole, which they have. Cole's been with Graves, so where does Graves go? You know, it's
a good problem to have.
It's a really interesting one. Anyway, we're going with Brian tapping out the commentator, Nigel McGuinness. We've got Mox turning on Brian at the end of the match and putting the bag on Brian, and the Bucks beat up Ospreay and Kyle with the screwdriver. That tag team match, Ospreay and Fletcher beforehand, they'd won it from another gauntlet. It was like weeks later. Just to stop it.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe. It was a good match, and the fact that Screwdriver was horrible. I really thought they might actually done the tag team titles then because they went to the party people, as I call them, the party people. And I don't think they were the right decision either, to be honest. I'd have given it to the old guys, but the youngest men in wrestling. But I would have given it to them. But this would have been the time I would have changed the tag team titles, and Ospreay and Fletcher could have feuded via the tag titles afterwards. Blah, blah, blah. I think Mox turn on Bryan is a huge deal.
I think it's a huge deal. What I will say about it is, right, it was a really big moment. The crowd popped for it. I thought it was really underwhelmingly executed. I don't like the bag.
I don't like
No, because it does, right? So that's, if you're doing that to someone in real life, you're trying to kill them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're doing is basically you're choking them out, but you're not really killing him. So essentially what you're doing is you're putting him in a headlock or sleep hold. And this is supposed to be this visceral betrayal. Like, Mariah May's one, which was visceral, there's blood. And I'm not saying there has to be blood, Mox, but it wasn't. It was just one uppercut and then kind of suffocate him, then don't, because obviously you're not going to kill him. That was it. And I just felt like it just, as soon as you put the bag on, it just ruined the momentum of it, because it's completely fake. It's very gimmicked, obviously. And that's it. And he's just going to breathe again and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, he's just going
That's
to
it.
breathe again.
You know what I mean? That's it.
I mean, he's not like the Undertaker going in the coffin and they light it on fire and then he's floating into the heavens.
That would have been fantastic.
I still think it's a bigger moment than Box
It's a bigger moment. I just have a problem with how it was done. I think Mox has had that idea and gone, I'm going to put a paper bag on him. It's like, yeah, but you're not
I've actually really respected Mox in the past few weeks. He's been coming out a lot and saying things that a lot of real fans have been saying, things that AEW have been running before they can walk, and about consistency of AEW. And it sounds like he's not saying it in character as well. So I've actually been respecting, because I didn't know if Mox kind of had that sort of viewpoint, because I thought he was going to be an AEW like real supporter. But that's the way you improve, is through criticism and to improve on that criticism and improvement.
I think it was the right storyline decision.
I do think
I'm
as well.
complaining of the execution.
I'm not happy with how they've done the takeover so far, because they haven't made it company wide. And the minute you do company wide storylines, they don't work. They die.
No.
Every they might have great moments. They might start well, but literally every great moment you can think of, like NWO died, TNA Ace and Eight died, the Invasion died. You've got to be very careful with company wide. This seems to be okay so far, and it's incorporating a few storylines, a few beats at the same time. It can improve, but I think it's done it. But I'm going to go with, I liked the moment. I thought it was like mad to me personally. So I'm going to go with Mox and the bag. We're going with the ending of Full Gear, so we're back with Mox and just everyone getting involved and people coming out left, right, and centre. And then Swerve and Hangman stare down at Blood and Guts. They're back again! That Blood and Guts,
decent little feud, isn't it?
So Blood and Guts, they have this, essentially, War Games. It's War Games. And they're in opposite rings. And then they just get up and stare at each other, and the crowd went mad. They wanted it again. They were ready for it again, because obviously they had matches in the year prior. And they were like, yeah, do it again. And this is what only Cena and Orton could have been. Every time Cena and Orton stare down,
totally.
no, boo!
No, silence. That's what it was.
These guys have a stare down, crowd they wanted it, and you were just there going, there's you put the title on one of them, there's your main event, and they never did the title match with them properly. Like, in this 2024, and you're like, the time, you should have done it, really? And what's Swerve done since? Since the feud finished, lose to Bobby Lashley. And you're like, so that stare down is incredible. The ending of Full Gear is mad. Great pay-per-view, by the way.
I do like a bit of chaos.
Full Gear is fantastic. Really great pay-per-view. Really, really good. Every match. AEW's pay-per-views, they're all amazing. Like, have they ever missed? Like, even when they missed, it was good fun.
That Winter is Coming one, didn't you? The Winter...
What was that TV special?
I don't know. And it was kind of locked down, so I can give them a pass.
I always give Lockdown of...
That was the one.
No, that was from, I think it was like a Revolution, I think, or...
I thought it was Winter.
No, the Pew 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 was an actual pay-per-view. I'll get the name, I'll put it on the screen. It was from that.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's my favourite moment from AEW history, by the way.
It's a WCW moment.
No, I think that's TNA. At least WCW would have invested, and it just would have looked crap.
Yeah.
This would have been. It's like little sparklers, little sparklers. Anyway. I think Swerve's had a stare down, but I think I had bigger moments. I think the ending of Full Gear, when it's just bedlam happening at the end of the night, is great, and it really works.
I enjoy that.
Yeah. Jeff Jarrett's Owen Hart promo, but so for the Owen Hart, and then I'm gonna have to rename this because I always forget this guy's name. Big Justice hits the spear on QT at Full Gear. Now, do you have any idea what I'm on about?
In a word, no.
Right. So I don't know these guys either, and I've already forgotten their actual names. I think they're Costco. I think it's Costco, because we're not American. We don't know these guys, and I don't know who they are. Right. But they're essentially like cheap celebrities, right?
Right.
Getting involved in AEW, which everyone goes, oh, it's very WWE. And they put the lad, and there's two of them. There's kind of a larger man and like a child. And the child got brought down to the ring with Big Show.
Oh no, I've seen this.
Yes.
Didn't have a match and everyone was
had a
going
match.
mental.
And it just worked.
Yes.
It was on the pre-show as well, so everyone could watch it for free TV. That's smart business. And it was great. It was really entertaining. And the kid hit a spear.
It's been all over my social media, and I don't get much wrestling on social media anyway.
And it deserved it
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
I don't know who these guys are, and I'm not going to research them because I can't be bothered. But all I'm going to say is the bloke who wrestled the match had a broken foot.
Well, the celebrity.
Yeah, and he just never told anyone. He had it beforehand,
What a
and he
lad.
went, I want to make sure I wrestle the match. I'm not going to tell anyone. That's great.
What a lad.
Genuinely, they got it.
Mm.
They understood what it is, and AEW, I actually think, did the best. They did, and QT's a professional, consummate professional, and this was a fantastic moment of pure silliness.
We love that.
Now we have to bang a flip on. We've gone pure silliness to one of, I think, the best sit-down, it's not even a sit-down interview, kind of on their own segments of talking segments I've ever seen. Because in reality, it wasn't really wrestling related. It was Jeff Jarrett speaking about his friend who died 25 years earlier. And I watched that and went, make him win the tournament. That's how good, well not good, that's how sad and emotional it was. He was just crying and talking about how he said he'd moved to this new house and he never got to move into that house and stuff like that. And it was just, oh my God, Jeff Jarrett, you know, the most hilarious man of wrestling, really has just done so much to just completely turn it all around. You know, he was a joke, complete joke, you know, essentially doing Catch My Gold and all this lot. And terrible end of TNA and his end of Global Force. And, you know, got Hall of Fame at WWE still blows my mind. And now he's doing amazing stuff in AEW. That sit down and we're just talking for 9 minutes about Owen Hart before the tournament. It's world class. And as much as I think the QT thing and the Costco guys and all that was hilarious and fun and has to be talked about, and I actually generally think it would have beaten a lot of these, you cannot ignore that, him talking about Owen Hart. You just can't. It has to win at least a match because it was great. It was lovely. It was emotional. And I tell you what, AEW, when you give people characters, you give people promo time, they will nail it. You just got to pick the right people, and Jarrett is the right person. I generally think he could have won that Owen Hart tournament. I really do. It would have made zero sense. You know, Bryan needed to win it. Hangman needed to win it. It made zero sense for him, but I wanted him to win it, and I think a lot of people did as well. The Death Riders take over Dynamite. It's really dominated the back end of the year on the moments. They had so few moments in that first sort of half of the year, and then they just boatloaded it. Darby goes through the glass. That was at the beginning of the year. Darby, what are you doing?
No.
Darby, no! Stop using glass. It goes in the fans. Like, that's the first thing. Don't do that.
Well, I can get it when they all in because it was on the stage, so it's not going to hit the fans, but it was still stupid.
Yeah.
It is stupid.
On top of the ladders, flipped through, it just exploded everywhere. Darby's nuts. Darby's insane.
How is he still walking?
Well, we keep saying that about Jeff, though, don't we?
I know. I don't get that either. It was insane. So I'm kind of torn as way to go here. I think I'm leaning towards Darby.
I'm leaning towards Darby because A, it's in a big match.
Yeah.
And he literally went, I'm going to do everything I can for this match to be something big for Sting's retirement. And it was. And it was insane. And Death Rider's taking over Dynamite, you know, and they're just attacking people and people coming out. There was loads coming out to try and defend it, the baby faces, loads and loads, and they just destroyed them. That's great. And I think it really worked with the characters. Got to be careful with a group like that. When they lose for the first time, what's going to happen then? Think about Nexus and stuff like that. But, Darby going through the glass is just... I hate it. I didn't like him doing it. But at the same time, holy crap.
If he's going to do it,
wow.
let's give him a win in this one.
Yeah, exactly. If he's already done it, you can't go, it's a big moment and it's mad. We're back to blood and guts again. Swerve getting stapled by the Elite.
He's had a rough time.
He's had a bad year, Swerve.
Yeah.
He's had a bad year. And then Mox's actual return, which was great. It was great to actually see him back. He'd been gone a while. He needed a refresh. Yeah. Coming back as a heel, great idea. You know, he hadn't done the turn yet in terms of on Bryan. We didn't really know what he was going to do, kind of cutting some interesting promos. The Swerve getting stapled. I watched Blood and Guts. It was one of the few matches I watched of AEW actually kind of like, I want to go and watch this match. And they've all got staple guns. And they're probably not even doing any staples, but there might be the odd couple one here and there. And they're just 4 blokes just stapling him. Just like that. And you're like, oh my God. He's been pierced with so many things.
That is what is good about AEW. They can just do these more extreme stuff that you wouldn't get on WWE.
Yeah.
And it's fun. That is fun.
You have to balance it. If you do it too often, like Mox was doing, it loses its appeal. Yeah. If you save it and then do it, then it means so much more. Yeah. They did go balls to the wall in this match, I have to admit. There's things in this match I hate, I'll point out. But this was a moment, because you could fake the staples and you could do the odd one here and there, was just mad to me. And I generally think it's actually a huge moment, but Mox returning is the moment, I think. So Mox goes through, still no vetoes. He's agreed with every moment, apart from one that he couldn't veto. MJF's return versus Sting's retirement. Sting's retirement, right?
It just is, isn't it?
Are we going to talk about Sting's retirement at any point?
When it loses.
I think. Sting's retirement, let's talk about it. Okay. Going for the tag titles with Darby was the right decision, rather than having singles, because he still couldn't do it. He was undefeated in AEW.
So how many bumps did you think?
To be fair,
did he?
Nuts. Like, honestly,
Sting. Yeah.
He was diving off things.
I know, I've
all
seen
the
that.
time.
I've seen you do that.
I know it's not a bump necessarily because you land on stuff, so I get what you're on about.
But
honestly, I didn't care. I was happy to watch Sting, and I was happy to watch him have some fun.
Isn't it insane that we've seen Sting wrestle live?
I can't believe when you sit down and go, "Who have you seen?" and you go, "Oh, we've seen Billy Gunn, Jeff Jarrett, The Big Show," and you're like, "Oh, did you watch wrestling in 2002?" Like, no. 2023 and 2024, and you're like, what? it's what? And then you think about the other people we've got to watch, like Joe and Punk and Brian and Zack Sabre Jr.
I know,
Osprey, Jericho. You know, it's just insane number of people we've got to watch. It's fantastic, and the fact that I've got to watch Sting once and then a return at All In was a lovely moment. Didn't make the list, but yeah, Sting's retirement match. It was a great match, really, really good. Coming out with his children, you know, and then dressed in different Stings.
Yeah,
fantastic. He's got like a Twitch account, one of his children, and he talks about it, and it's really lovely.
Nice.
Sting's retirement is going to go through here. Brian taps out Nigel, and Mox turns on Brian with the bag. I actually think Mox turning on Brian with the bag is the bigger moment.
I think I might use my veto.
Are you going to go use your veto already?
Because I go right.
So you really hate this moment, don't you?
Just hear me out.
I'm hearing.
I don't even say anything because I've got the veto. However.
So I already just cut it on the screen. There you go. Hang on.
I'm doing this South Korea. This is martial law now. Right? I'm taking over for 3 minutes. Political.
Oh gee, this is a wrestling channel, Sam.
Sorry.
Don't throw that in there.
But I just had to put my foot down. All right. This channel needs a strong man. Okay. So. What am I even talking about?
That's neither of us.
No, it doesn't. That's why I need to.
Brian tapping Nigel instead of Mox turning on Brian.
So this is the opposite of the Mariah May thing for me.
Okay.
Because I think with Mariah May, you've got something that could be a slightly unnoteworthy thing, and because of the execution, you've made it incredible. Hence, I put it over Nigel returning. However, I think you've taken what could be an incredible moment, and it was still big because it's the Blackpool Combat Club. They've been together forever. None of them have been to Blackpool, but that's by the by.
Weird Regal's long gone.
Long gone. And I think you've just turned what could have been one of the all-time best heel turns in the company history to you're just putting a bag on his head and everyone knows you're not going to kill him and choke him, and then you just take it off.
Fair enough.
That's me. And I want to use my veto because
I'm veto used. Okay. I feel like, well, Brian was going through regardless. So
yes.
Brian tapping Nigel out will go through to the quarterfinal. The ending of the Full Gear pay-per-view where everyone gets in and it's insane and, you know, people are losing and getting beaten up and, you know, people are floating from the sky and it's always insane.
Yes.
And Jeff Jarrett's promo with the Owen Hart. I still think it's Jarrett here.
I still think it's Jarrett.
It's Jarrett.
But I do like Full Gear.
Full Gear's really good. There's a lot of Full Gear and Blood and Guts and All In on this show, and I think those and the beginning of the show. I always forget what the name of the beginning of the show is with Sting. I always forget the name. AEW pay-per-views don't stick in my name. The names don't stick in my head.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because they've not been around long enough.
Maybe that's it, but I've always never attached myself to the names for some reason. I don't know why. The only one I attached to is All In because it was like All In and All Out were like, you know, the first
big
ones when they did. Double or Nothing sticks in my brain as well. But anyway, Jeff Jarrett.
Just have a little conversation.
To be fair, it's like when WWE had pay-per-view names from like 2010 to things. You just had so many names that were just like Fatal 4-Way and like what was that as a name? You know, Capital Carnage,
Capital
Punishment.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Hey, Jeff Jarrett. Darby going through the glass and Mox's return. I actually still think this is Darby, actually.
I still think this is Darby.
Yeah, I think Mox's thing is a slow build over time. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. In isolation, they're all isolational moments. A lot of these have actually been, they've been a lot of big things, but they've never been like, it never felt like it was a moment sort of thing. I think they're going to have them. I really do, if they get it booking right. But yeah, I think Darby going through the glass is still one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's just...
daft.
Absolutely insane. Mad. He is mad. He does worry me. Oh, he does.
Yeah, I was his doctor.
But you are going to watch every single thing he does.
Yeah.
I was disappointed at All In. That match sucked.
Yeah.
It did suck. They clearly had time just...
They did have time.
Chopped out of the wazoo, didn't you? Yeah, I'd love to see what they actually would have done with the time they actually had. But anyway, Darby going through the glass goes through it because Darby has lit people on fire. He's propelled from the ceiling, and now he's going through glass.
He's had a year as well.
Oh my god! We're into the quarterfinals of the right-hand side of the draw. Sting, sort of retirement, and Bryan getting tapping out Nigel. I think this time it is Sting's retirement.
I think so as well.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the whole pay-per-view was built around him. It was at the Greenberg Coliseum, which obviously had his famous matches with Flair and all that stuff. Yeah. Tony made it a big deal. He did it right. He did it right by a legend. And that's how you should go out. Yeah, maybe he went on too long, but he went out in the right way. And I'm glad he got to have that instead of the match that happened at WWE when he did his neck in with Seth Rollins.
It's a shame, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it just shows you, I think that's the thing about Tony that he does well, is he does book around people quite well.
Yes.
And I don't think people acknowledge that, because they also have these incredible wrestlers, but they also have a lot of people who are there way too long.
Yeah.
You know, because they like people who are a bit older and stuff. And they do get them right.
And I think they also do tributes and retirements and those kind of things right as well.
If only they could get more footage.
Yeah.
You know, if only they could get more footage. This is when you just want someone like WWE to be a bit more modern and go, we'll help you out. You know, we might get something in return.
What's it going to really affect WWE's business if they give AEW some footage and AEW gives them some stuff as well? Like...
And they let a few people talk about it, but it was like people they couldn't even have people who on Legends contracts appear.
Yeah,
like
I just think it's such an outdated way of doing things.
It feels
it's like
outdated.
both companies are doing well and are fine.
Both companies are doing outdated things. You look at the Lucha Bros and Fenix not being able to leave because he's trapped into his contract and he wants to leave for WWE and he's like, no, I'm going to extend it because you've been injured for 8 months. You're like, that's still going? They did that to Luke Harper for like a year.
They did.
And you're like, let him leave. Let them leave. If they want to go, let them leave.
And you're not using them.
And that's the thing I was about to say. And if you're not going to let them, you're going to go, no, you signed a contract, which is fine, you signed a contract, then use them. And they can't go, I refuse the booking. You then find them. I'm pretty certain if you literally then took all his money away for the 8 months, they would probably then consider doing the job properly. But this is why contracts are an issue anyway. But Sting's retired. We do like
a segue.
We like a segue.
AEW
is an interesting one. We definitely need to do a Tony Khan video this year. Should we do a giant pros and cons of Tony Khan this year?
Yeah. Let's get him on the channel.
Oh my god, he'd probably come on though in Tony. Anyway, Sting's retirement is going to go through to the semi-final. Jeff Jarrett's Owen Hart promo. Darby going through the glass. Tough one. What do you think? It's your last time you can veto, just so you know. So,
thank you.
What do you think? What are you going with?
I will still go with Jeff Jarrett's promo.
I think so. Do you know what? It's unbelievable because it had no connotation to anything. Yeah. We talk about things that mean stuff, and we've had other things go down because they didn't lead to as much or they didn't have a bigger moment there. I just think there was just something about this. It stuck with me for so long.
When it's real and really real.
And it's really real.
Because we get and it's great when and it can be overused, don't get me wrong, when in WWE or AEW wrestling, you mix fiction with reality. So
yes, you've got to get it right.
It's fiction in storyline, but it's based in reality, which is great. But this isn't even just based in reality.
This is based in sadness.
This is because it's not even related to a storyline, it's just I'm going to talk genuinely about my friend.
And I'm so glad they put it on. I'm so glad they did it. It's getting it right. It's technically a tribute type thing.
Yeah.
I loved this moment so much watching it that I wanted to cry with him. It was so sad. We all know what it's like to lose somebody. But when you lose somebody who is your age or you're a sort of standing, it feels like
it's premature.
Yeah,
as well.
That's the thing. It just means so much. And watching him talk about it was just wonderful, really. And as I said, I wanted the 50 whatever he is, 6-year-old man or whatever it is, to win and get a world title shot. That's how well it worked, even though it's not doing it for that. Darby going through the glass is just unbelievable. It's mad. It's insane. stop it.
Yeah.
But at the same
Stop
time,
it.
but stop it. But don't stop it.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett's Owen Hart promo is going to go through to the semi-final. It's WCW versus WCW.
Yeah.
Sting's retirement, Jeff Jarrett's Owen Hart promo. I think at this point we have to go with Sting's retirement. Yeah, I think so.
Because I think you can go either one.
I do, but I think why I'm picking Sting's is it was around an entire match.
Yeah.
The children were involved. It's more current.
It
The
was
Jeff Jarrett
planned.
thing was about 25 years ago with Owen. It was really sad and lovely. It was planned. It was won the tag titles as well with Darby, which is nice. Very Christian. But then it's like, it really worked. It was with the Bucks who they had great matches and stuff like that. It was really, really, really well done. And you know what? It was a great send-off for a very, very big legend who I don't think had been given enough kind of due. He'd been given due, but when people talk about some of the greatest of all time, Sting never gets the name thrown in there. And he should.
Yeah.
And he really, really should. I mean, stop wrestling Ric Flair. Seriously, stop it. But every time I watch a WCW pay-per-view, it's Sting Ric Flair. I swear.
Yeah.
But I do think here's Sting's retirement over. I love both these moments. I'm actually delighted that this was the semi-final of the right-hand side of the draw, but I'm going to pick Sting to go through to the final. And then we have reached the final. So before we get into it, what do you think about us talking about AEW? Do you think Sam could be a bit more educated on AEW since he stopped watching?
Just stop it at educated.
Yeah.
It really could be.
It's so fascinating with you. Like, you were the one who got, you were like, no, AEW.
I
for
was
that
really
first
into
2 years. You were the one telling me about stuff.
You know what it is? I think I sometimes struggle to follow one wrestling company. So I think following two at the same time is difficult. For when I was AEW, I was much less on WWE.
We never watched WWE outside the pay-per-views,
It was 2019, so who would?
We watched the pay-per-views together, and that's about it.
Exactly.
You
So
weren't watching Raw.
I feel like I have to, as a person, have one. Like, I'll kind of just slightly keep in the loop with the other one, but I have to have one. And WWE for me is just...
At the moment, they are on fire,
Yeah,
admittedly. And AEW needed to step up because they're on fire, and I don't think they did step up. I think they just need to keep themselves to themselves and build new stars of their own people. I think that's the key. Don't do a TNA. I know they appreciate WCW, but that's what made WCW big. It's don't do a TNA. TNA had stars, and then they just kept putting in WWE people. Don't do that. That's the only caveat. You think about all the people who've had the best moments of these. It's Hangman. It's Swerve. Now, don't get me wrong, Swerve was WWE, but he was a jobber in WWE. So I'm talking about you still made him a main eventer. You made him a main eventer.
Darby as well.
Darby.
MJF,
use them. Be Osprey. Use them people. So do you agree with us? What do you think? Do you disagree? Do you like our final? Who do you think should win in this? Put it in the comments now at this point, because you can actually see on the YouTube. You can see on someone's comments. It's so modern, isn't it? Look at me like an old man. I heard that you can put links at the end. So our final, and generational. Look at this final. Mariah May's heel turn, Sting's retirement. I think she's like 23 or something.
She's 23?
Yeah, she's absolutely ridiculously 23.
I know who wins for me.
I'm going to go with the heel turn, personally.
Same, yeah.
I think it's safe to say the Sting, I'm really happy for you. I'm glad you got your moment. I'm glad you got another all-in moment. But I think it's safe to say that we are going to decide that the best moment of AEW 2024 is Mariah May's heel turn. So what do you think? Do you think Mariah May was the best moment of AEW? Do you have another moment? Did any moments not make it? Did we miss any? Do you think there's something more that we should get into with AEW? Thank you for joining us on Christmas Eve. Please join us for the rest of the week. I would really love for you to join us for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we've got our Christmas special on Christmas Day. I'd like to see it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we shall see you next time.